Hello and welcome to Football League World TV. This morning we've got the EFL betting show. We are, of course, in the midst of an international break, but there is still a scattering of EFL fixtures this weekend. We've got a handful in League One and a full schedule in League Two. So still enough to get our teeth sunk into. My name is Sam Rourke, the Chief Editor of Football League World, and I'm joined by Ben and Marcus from FLW as well. Ben, how are we this morning?
Very good. Missed the betting show for the first time actually last week, so hopefully I can make up for that with a few winners. I think I had a few bankers this season, but the rest of them are a bit of a muchness. So hopefully I can get a few picks right in all the categories.
Fingers crossed. And Marcus, how are you this morning?
Yeah, very well, thank you. A little bit of debut nerves, I think. Want to get a good start on the betting show, but yeah, reduced amount of fixtures, but still some tasty selections, I think.
Yeah, for sure. As we do every single week on the EFL betting show on FLW TV, we run through four key selections. We first touch on the banker of the weekend in the EFL, the accumulator, the value bet, and our wild card for the weekend. So let's get straight into it. If you are watching this show live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, we want to hear from you. Send in your comments. What are your best bets in the EFL this weekend? So we're going to start off with our banker of the weekend in the English Football League, the one that we feel simply will not lose. Ben, we'll come to you. Who have you got this weekend?
Yeah, obviously with a reduced selection, there wasn't a lot to choose from, and I always like to go for a team that wins instead of like a draw or both teams score. And I've landed on Plymouth at home to Burton. Now I was looking at actually Harry against Scunthorpe. I just thought the odds of 4-7, it wasn't really much value. But Plymouth, they've drawn 3 of the last 4, but I just think it's a really good chance to get back to winning ways. I think Burton started the season pretty well under Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, but they've kind of tailed off a little bit. They've got some dangerous players like Daniel Jebison. If he can start scoring, then he'll be a real danger on Saturday. But I think Plymouth are third for a reason. They had a very impressive win over Sheffield Wednesday not too long ago when they won 3-0. And I think just the strikers you've got up front, they've got Jephcott and Hardy who are both banging form, and then they've got Niall Ellis on the bench and also Kieran Agard. They've got a lot of options up there that Ryan Law can use, and I just think that tomorrow they might just have a little bit too much at the top end of the pitch for Burton to handle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a stellar start for Ryan Lowe's side in League One this season. Shout out to Ryan Hardy, who won the League One Player of the Month Football League One Fan Award for September. So hats off to him. He's had a great start to the season and a great September. Marcus, what is your banker in the EFL this weekend?
So my banker is Bolton plus a quarter on the Asian handicap. For those not too familiar with this market, I'm essentially giving them a quarter of a goal head start. So for this bet to come off, if they win the game, we're fine. That's a win. If they draw the game against Sheffield Wednesday, I should mention, we get a half win. So I just like having both the outcomes of the draw and the win on side, and we're making money in terms of if either one comes in. I've got this with Bet365. On their app or on their website, this is written as a 0.0, plus 0.5. It means the same as plus a quarter. The reason why I'm happy with this, I think Bolton are pretty big at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday going in as favourites. I think that's mainly just due to the fact they're at home. Bailey Peacock Farrell's away on international duty, and Bolton have actually scored double Sheffield Wednesday's goals this season, 20-10. They have played one more game, but also, I just think they're on fire away from home, particularly at the moment. Those eye-catching wins at Ipswich and Charlton 5-2 and 4-1 in recent weeks. And Sheffield Wednesday's underlying numbers are not as good as their league positions suggest. They're 12th with an eye on breaking into the playoff picture, actually 19th in the XG standings. So I think Bolton coming in as value outsiders here, and I'd like to use the Asian handicap to give us a little bit more of a chance. That's 21-25, 1.83 with Bet365, Bolton plus a quarter.
There we go. If you are watching this show, what do you think of Ben and Marcus's bankers in the EFL this weekend? We want to hear from you. Right, let's touch on our accumulator next. As we said, it is an international break, so there is a limited selection of teams to choose from for the accumulator. But Ben, what have you come up with this week?
I've got Plymouth on there, obviously, as my banker. I've stuck them on there as a first team. I've also got Ipswich to beat Shrewsbury. I know that the form's very inconsistent, Ipswich. I feel like they should get back to winning ways. I think they might be missing one or two players for internationals, but there's a very disappointing loss of Accrington last week. But I just think Shrewsbury, they're not really been at the races this season, and Ipswich really on, if they're even half firing, they should be able to get at least a 1-goal win. But like what we saw they did to Doncaster, they absolutely blew them away, and I think this could potentially go a similar way to that. I've also got Bristol Rovers at home to Carlisle now. I think both these teams are in quite poor form in League Two. They're down near the bottom of the table. I think despite losing to Swindon last week, I think they can perhaps turn a corner. They beat Walsall the week before Bristol Rovers away. And I think just with the firepower they've got up front, I think they should be doing a lot better than they are. And I think if it's going to click, it's going to click soon. And I think last week they obviously went down to 10 men at some point, and it probably didn't help them in that regard, having the man disadvantage. And I think with 11 men on the pitch, they should be able to do Carlisle at home. And my final pick is a pretty clear favourite in Harrogate, the 4-7 to beat Scunthorpe. Scunthorpe, I think when we did the transfer show, Sam, I picked them out as probably one of the losers of the window in terms of transfers, and they've not really started the season well at all. Harrogate are probably one of the big surprises in the league, actually. They're second in the table. They've been very solid, both home and away. And I think just back on home soil, they can probably get an easy win here against an out-of-sorts team. And that fourfold is 13.85 to 1. So £10 on that returns £148.50.
Nice accumulator there. I do like the sound of that, actually. Marcus, let's get your Aki in the EFL this weekend.
Yeah, I've gone much more conservative than Ben, just a treble, and the price is only 7-2. But it's three selections that I really like. Shorter prices combined. Sustainability is the main goal at the end of the day. I've got Bolton plus 0.5 on the handicap, so different to the quarter goal start. This is the exact same as a double chance bet on the 1x2 market. It's just Bolton to win or draw. We're in business. The exact same bet with Bradford, who are at Newport County. I think they've had a decent start to the season. I think it's going to click at some point. Bradford have been tipped up as automatic promotion candidates, and I think they will start to justify that as we move towards the turn of the year. They're second in the expected goal standings, where Newport County are 13th. An impressive spirited display to win after Michael Flynn's departure last week. I can't see it carrying on this week. I think Bradford are the better side here, but still with the insurance of we just need them to get a draw to keep this ACCA alive. And then the final selection is Sutton versus Port Vale. Two of the best teams in League Two for me this season so far, definitely in recent weeks. Sutton have scored in 8 in their last 10. Port Vale have scored in 9 in their last 10. So I'm going for both teams to score here. And that bumps the ACCA up, to 7-2 with Bet365.
Nice mixture of bets there within that accumulator. You like to see it. As ever, please do gamble responsibly for all those watching 18 and over. We're going to touch on our value bet next. So, Ben, let's come to you first. What is your value tip in the EFL this weekend?
Well, it's a team that's already been talked about quite a lot already. That's Bolton, 12-5 away at Sheffield Wednesday. From what I've seen, I think the thumping away wins they've had against Charlton and Ipswich in recent weeks, I think it's just too good an opportunity to pass up at that price. Sheffield Wednesday don't seem to be firing on all cylinders despite the players they've got at their disposal. They lost to Oxford last week, a late 2-1 loss, and they drew against Shrewsbury a few weeks ago. I just think Bolton at 12-5 is way too big for the form that they're showing away from the Uniball. The likes of Afolayan are really flying this season, and I think he could potentially do some damage to Sheffield Wednesday. I do think Sheffield Wednesday will end up stabilising. I think they're just a bit inconsistent at the minute, and when Josh Windass comes back, I think they should do better at the top end of the pitch. But I just think this weekend, Bolton at those odds at 12-5, that's from Sky Bet. It might be a little bit better elsewhere, but just think it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, that is a very good price, actually. Marcus, let's get your value bet in the EFL this weekend.
Yeah, completely agree with Ben. That Bolton price really does jump off of the selections. Mine's in the Mansfield versus Oldham game. This is a bit more of a anti-Mansfield play. They're around 4-5 to beat Oldham, considering they haven't won in their last 10. I don't understand that price at all. How can they be that short when they win this in their last 10? So I want to get Oldham on side with the plus 0.5 handicap, same as the double chance. Once again, this is just under even money, around 9 to 10, which I think is a good bet with Mansfield. The way they're playing at the moment, Oldham, there's been some small shoots of recovery. They're slowly picking up points. Time will tell if they can really fight against a drop this season. Keith Curle's going back to an old club in Mansfield, which adds a little bit of spice to the occasion. Maybe you can get his players up in that way. But this is mainly, a price play for the value bet. I can't explain why Mansfield are so short. So I'm going to be getting on the other team to take something away from Field Mill as a result. So Oldham plus 0.5 on the Asian handicap. It's around 9 to 10.
Lovely. George Harvey getting in touch with us on YouTube. Oldham, a great shout. Mansfield are really struggling with injuries too. So there we go. Right, let's finally touch on our wild card bet of the weekend. So the wild card bet is a bet that we look at, which is a little bit off the kind of beaten track. One we don't think necessarily could come in, but it could do a kind of a good price. Ben, let's come to you first for your wild card this weekend.
Yeah, I've gone down a few different routes with this one in previous weeks, like anytime goal scorers, both teams to score and whatnot. And I've gone for a both teams to score in both halves between Walsall and Salford at the best got 16 to 1. That is. There's been no clean sheets for either side in Walsall's last 5 league games, and I believe the last game was a both teams scoring both halves that came in. Salford have a pretty leaky defence recently, but we know they've got players in the team like Matty London, Conor McElhenney and others who know where the back of the net is. So I just think there could be a lot of goals in that one. I think I've backed both teams to score in the last few weeks on this show as well, but it's coming as 0-0. So hopefully I've got a bit of better luck this week. But yeah, Walsall v Salford, both teams score both halves 16 to 1. I just think that's a very, very big price, and I think George got Accrington Morecambe spot on with that kind of bet a few weeks back, and that ended up being 3-3. So hopefully a similar result.
There we go. Marcus, what is your wild card in the EFL this weekend?
Yeah, carrying on focusing on that Sheffield Wednesday versus Bolton match. Ben's reasoning for the value bet is similar here. I'm going Bolton to score over 2.5 goals at Hillsborough. That's at 7 to 1 with Bet365. It would have come in 2 of their last 3 away games. I think it almost suits them playing away from home with the impetus on Sheffield Wednesday to come onto them. If Bolton can get the first goal, I think this really could be anything with Darren Moore. Not under pressure, but under pressure to get results with the slow start Wednesday have made. So I think if they can get an early goal, Bolton could definitely end up running riot at Hillsborough. And I think that's a nice price, 7 to 1 for them to score 3 goals or more.
Well, there we go. That wraps up the EFL betting show this morning. Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. As ever, please do gamble responsibly, 18 and over. Ben, Marcus, thanks very much for joining me this Friday morning. I hope you all enjoyed this show this morning. Please do subscribe to FLW TV on YouTube if you haven't already. We've got another live show this afternoon. We're looking ahead to most of the EFL fixtures this weekend. George Douglas, the host for that one. So make sure you tune in this afternoon. But once again, thanks for viewing, and we'll see you next time.